Governor, you tweeted that you hope the court returns authority to the states. Mitch McConnell told USA Today it's possible Republicans will pursue a national ban. Would you oppose that?
I think that's inconsistent with what we've been fighting for 4 decades, which is that we wanted the Roe versus Wade reversed and the authority to return to the states. And so as a matter of principle, that's where it should be.
So Asa Hutchinson, governor of Arkansas, was talking and pushed back a little bit. I mean, he's getting credit for saying that he disagrees with Mitch McConnell. But I listen closely sometimes and I hear these things. He didn't say no. The question was, do you disagree with that? He said inconsistent and then started talking about principle. Listen to that again.
Would you oppose that?
I think that's inconsistent with what we've been fighting for. And so as a matter of principle, that's where it should be.
So again, Hutchinson said it's inconsistent, not that he disagrees, because this is a difference when it comes to politicians. They may say, yeah, you know what, that's not really consistent with what would normally happen. But then when it comes to actually doing it, we've seen them actually do these things. Or if the party just wants to do it. Again, he's a governor. He's not in the Senate, he's not in Congress. He's a governor, so he can feel it's inconsistent. It doesn't mean that it's not gonna happen. It just means he feels that way. And also, when it comes to inconsistency, we know how this party is. The justices that are on the Supreme Court, they're inconsistent from what they said in their confirmation hearings versus what they're now potentially gonna vote for, and what it seems to be they're gonna vote for here. Also, principles when it comes to this party, Voting Rights Act, things about principles, even when it comes to Supreme Court nominees and what Mitch McConnell did with those. Principle and consistency, nothing that has to do with this party says that, but Hutchinson can point out and maybe hope that that's the situation here. Here, let's get to what Mitch McConnell actually said that got him kind of disagreeing with him. It would depend on where the votes are, is what Mitch McConnell told USA Today in an exclusive interview. This was on Thursday. So with regard to the abortion issue, I think it's pretty clear where the Senate Republicans stand, is what Mitch McConnell again said. And if and when the court makes a final decision, I expect everyone will be more definitive. But I don't think it's much secret where Senator Republicans stand on that issue. If the leaked opinion became the final opinion, legislative bodies, not only at the state level, but at the federal level, certainly could legislate in that area. Again, we're talking about a national ban on abortion in the country. Also, and if this were the final decision, and if that was the point, that it should be resolved one way or another in the legislative process. So yeah, it's possible. Also, Mitch McConnell's stance on the filibuster, they did say that at least he's gonna go to the point where he's not gonna be pushing this as far as breaking the filibuster. So look, that quote here, McConnell said even if the GOP reclaims the Senate, he would not entertain ditching the 60 threshold rule to pass a national ban, however. No carve out for the filibuster period, he said, for any subject. You know what else Mitch McConnell said? Mitch McConnell said that if there's gonna be a Supreme Court justice vacancy after he blocked Obama's nominee, that he would rush it through as well. So there's no consistency there, and there's actually no principle. And there's also, when it comes to what he said he's gonna do and he makes these vows as far as the filibuster goes, no guarantee there either. Let's keep it real. So with all of that still being said, Hutchinson had more to say in explaining why he was kind of disagreeing with Mitch McConnell. Then I'll let you jump in here, David. Let's watch this.
If you look at a constitutional or a national standard, that goes against that thrust of the states having prerogative. And secondly, I think there's some constitutional issues of a national standard as well as to what is the authority of the Constitution to enact that. And Martha, there's a fundamental point because everybody describes this as right. If the court reverses Roe versus Wade, they're saying that the Constitution does not provide that, which returns it to the states. And to me, that makes sense under the Constitution. And that's where the vigorous debate is going to be. That is where we're going to face a lot of concerns on the compassion side. And states are going to make different determinations of it.
I have more thoughts about where he went there, but David, what are your thoughts here?
Well, a couple of things. Normally Republicans are pretty savvy in terms of the politics. In this case, I think, and you saw it a little bit there with Hutchinson trying to be guarded, perhaps for political reasons, but you're also seeing a glimpse of where Hutchinson, even a member of the evangelical part of the party, really believes, and certainly McConnell, and that is they really do want to ban abortions everywhere. This is not just some sort of political thing for them. This is their ambition, and they can't keep themselves from sort of going there, even though the politics on it, I think, would be horrific. horrific for Republicans. So, I mean, to me, it's just sort of, look, if anybody thinks that this is just about returning this to the states, that this is just a states' rights issue, you're insane. This is what Republicans, conservative Republicans, really want to do, and they will trip over themselves politically in order to try and get it done.
Now, I feel like most humans, even with the Republican Party, people have a varying spectrum of where they stand on these things. When it comes to even maybe some exceptions, or even I'm sure there's some Republicans that actually are probably pro-choice, but they can't say so. Or if they are, they've been run out of the party. Who knows to what degree it was, or they definitely shut up about it. But there was a little bit of guidance that was given. We talked before about how the Republican Party, especially coming up in the midterms, does not want to talk about what their agenda is because it's opposite of what the American people want. This is just another level to that. So there was some guidance given as to how they should do this. And I feel like Hutchinson was doing that here. Let's look at that. Because the GOP campaign officials are advising candidates to downplay and soft pedal the prospects of anti-abortion legislation as they battle pro-choice Democrats for control of Congress and various state houses across the country. It says, be compassionate, consensus builder on abortion policy. That's what an advisory document from the National Republican Senatorial Committee said. They want them to be compassionate and be a consensus builder. So that's when I believe in that last part there. Hutchinson wants to say there's gonna be some back and forth. There's gonna be issues with the Constitution. I mean, we gotta be compassionate when it comes to the way we approach this. They're somehow gonna try to mold compassion with stealing women's rights for their own body and their own body autonomy. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out for them, but until people expose it, I'm not sure if they're followers it, because again, this isn't just a Democratic issue of people who want access to women's rights. There's Republicans that would like that as well.
And I think this is I think this is a huge danger for Republicans politically. If in fact, look, Mitch McConnell stepped in it a bit over the weekend. I mean, because now every single Republican running for office is gonna be asked, or should be asked, do you support a nationwide ban on abortion? And like 75% of the country disagrees with that. So to the extent the Republicans then have a fight amongst themselves between evangelicals and moderates over what should our abortion policy be, should be up to the states. I mean, that's a problem for Republicans. Where the Democrats have a little bit of danger, and that is, if Americans wake up on the day after Roe versus Wade is reversed, and Americans find out, well, there's still 25 states where it will be legal, and then there'll be 25 states where it will not be legal because of the laws that get triggered. I mean, some Americans might be surprised and say, well, wait a second, I thought all of abortion was at stake here. So the Democrats are wise to sort of let this play out, but also use McConnell, put every Republican, put every candidate on the right now, put them down. Do they support a nationwide ban or not? Because that is politically terrible for the Republicans.
100%, they gotta be asked, and we'll see if they answer it. And then if those answers come, then talk about what these state legislators doing. Because national politics don't like to talk about what Arkansas or Mississippi or Nebraska is doing in their state legislators. But this is a direct connection to this potentially being overturned. So ask them that too, or point out, do you disagree with what the Republicans did in Nebraska? Ask them, because that's affecting what you're doing now and what you're associating yourself with. We'll see. They'll probably dodge as well, because we've seen all that happen.